Back on the deck today, just putting in some nice skirt boards to cover up all the ends of the floor joists, and it'll also help take the warp out of some of the joists. This side was pretty good. I've already completed it, and the joists were all pretty square. And then I married that into the old deck, kind of like that. Eventually I'll cover all this up, but you know, put a little nicer finish on it. Yeah, I am replacing all this decking so it's more continuous across, and I'm doing that with that pile right there. That represents nearly $4,000 worth of decking in today's prices. Not fun, but what mama wants, mama gets. So anyway, so I wanted to show you a trick to getting the warp out of the board. Basically, it's this 2x4. I don't know, you can kind of tell that that's twisted, right? So with that 2x4 screwed in right here near the top of the board where it's twisted, I can apply pressure like this, and that straightens it right up. And you can see how much it moves. Some of them are worse than others. This one next to it, that one's really twisted. So yeah, just use the 2x4 for leverage, screwed to it, then remove it when you're done. So yeah, I'll give you a little update shot once I get these skirts finished. I did half of the front already as well. It kind of gives it a really nice finished look where you can't see under the deck. And as you can see, I got another 2x12 laying up on top. That'll go across this part. All right, back at it. Well, finally back from vacation and time to resume replacing the deck. As you can see, these are the new boards, and they're quite a bit different color from the fading on the old boards. So I'm pulling up all the old boards. Probably mentioned this before, but these are going to be used around the pool, so they won't go to waste. That way all these will fade together and be one consistent color. And then I won't also have one funky seam right here where the old deck used to end right there. That'll be all the new deck. So first things first, I pulled up some of this old decking. Didn't record any of that, but you know, that's okay. And then I had to figure out how much of this I had to cut out in order to do my cutout for around this corner here, to give myself a 3/4 inch overhang down along this edge. Then I got a 3/4 inch hangover at the end, and a 3/4 inch overhang down at this end. So I haven't nailed this or screwed this one in yet, but I have started this one. And as you can see, I'll be using this Craig jig for decking, and it's designed to hide the fasteners. And if you look right here at this one, it kind of side screws them in, and you pre-drill a pilot hole, and then you set the screw in there. These are all square bit, and I got this drill set up with the pilot hole drill. And then Craig jig's kind of neat. It's got these ones here, these guides for 45-degree angles, and then the center ones for straight in. Basically how it works is you have your 2x6 right there. There's two lines on either side, one on either side of the hole that you want to drill in. You line that up with your 2x6. It sets in there, and you run your drill bit down through there. So I'll set this up and show you how to do one. All right, so I'm going to fasten this piece of decking to this board right here. As I mentioned, I will take my Craig jig. I'm going to use a straight in screw. I'm going to line this up with the 2x6 and simply, it's also got a stop right here so you don't overdrive it. And actually the case this all comes in has a measurement to set that stop, but you can vary it some if you want. Simple as that. That's the pre-drilled hole. Come back along with the screw. Simple as that. Now it's fastened. Then I also want to do a top mount screw because this overhang on this side is a little bit too far. So basically I know I got a 3/4 inch overhang, and right there should be the center of my board. Pre-drill that just so the head will sit flush. You don't want to countersink it too far. That's it, nice and flush. Rinse and repeat about 1,000 times, maybe more, and the deck will be done. I'll just take snapshots every time I get a board laid. Here's the other things that are included in the jigs. These are spacers to put between the boards as you line them out in here. You got a 1/4 inch and you got 5/16. I'm going to go with these 1/4 inch spacers. So I'll be using these 3 red ones to space out my deck boards. I'll show you that here in a second when we use the blue ones. Here's the other thing I was talking about in the for the drill bits, the spacer. These actually come in the kit as well. No, take that back. The other thing I was talking about were the bits, and I'll show you on the jig. It's actually on the jig where you actually can set the depth of your stops. So we'll head back out, throw a couple of these in, and get the next board laid out. Ah, bright lights, it's a nuclear holocaust. So the spacers will go right here like so. You push the board up against that. Just that easy. One down here. Boards are a little bit warped and whatever, just got them out of the packaging. Little update before we get started today. Didn't get a lot done over the last week. When I left off last, basically I only got a couple more boards laid in. I only had a couple hours to work on it. Rains came, in August, raining pretty good. So I kind of delayed that. Some decisions had to be made about the lighting. And let me turn this camera around. And here's the old lights. They were pretty dim. It's a small eyebrow LED light. They seemed fine when we first got them, but over time, the light actually sits flush behind that, and then the eyebrow kind of directs the light downward. We're replacing them with something very similar, about the same size. The casing's a little smaller, but these LEDs are supposed to have a little brighter lumen, and they're multicolor. Come with a remote control. Who doesn't like a remote control? Show you the box here in a little bit. But the plan for today is to finish this section here, and then rather than trying to do in front of the hot tub here, I'm going to come around the back side and try to get at least over into here with the decking today, I hope. But I have to do all the lighting before I cover it up with boards, because I got to run the wiring, and all the wiring isn't here yet. But so I'll start out drilling some holes, placing the lights, getting the cables that are on the lights laid out. But I had to get some extensions, so there'll be 3 lights along that side, 6 lights along this side, and these on down at this end can wait, because it'll be a while before I get down to doing the decking here. 3 more lights here, and then replace the 5 lights that are up along the sidewalk here, and another 3 back up where we started from. So I just got to show you something else though. As I started this project, the missus decided we need new furniture for the deck. And yeah, there it is. I believe she got it on Amazon. It's fairly inexpensive, but it's a couch, 4 chairs, tables, a fire pit, all up for under $2,000, I think. The basic kit was like $1,500, and we added some chairs to it. Here's that lighting kit. I think she also got that off of Amazon. Let me see if I can show it to you. 12-volt LED deck lighting. I guess the little symbols there to show that it's multicolor. This is the style we got right there. So it's an eyebrow light. Comes with the power supply, controller, remote control, and you can see all the color selections. This is what one of the lights look like up close. And it just, you drill like a 1-inch hole, and it slides in and clips. Now, she read some reviews where people were having problems with them twisting, and one guy suggested putting a little RTV or silicone on the back side once you slide it into the socket of the board. And I may do that. I might not do it right away. I might just put them in place, see how it goes. But if the hole's tight enough, these clamps should hold it and keep it from spinning. But it's not an attached clamp. It comes off, so it may be a problem yet. We'll see. Nothing that can be overcome by just pulling the light out and adding it later. So that's 20 lights. That'll go all the way around the deck. And yeah, I know she wants to start building this furniture this weekend, so that's going to slow down the deck process. But what Mama wants, Mama gets, mostly. Okay, well, I will try to set this camera up and give you an angle of me doing a couple more boards. Just more of what we were showing before, using the Craig jig, cut, and doing the hidden fastener thing. Here again is the Craig jig. 1/4-inch spacers are right here in my screw jar. These are the fasteners. They come with a, what is that? Not a hex. Star bit, yeah. And then, yeah, I think we got those at Lowe's. So as my projects go, the tools get pulled out for a couple hours. Don't want to put them all back away because you're going to go right back to working. Stuff comes up, you got to go start working on something else. Got to go to work. Anyways, so tools end up piled up, but they're close at hand. Yeah, this is inside the shop. There's the deck right out there. So, yeah, and then you add more to the project, all the furniture. The lighting kit's got to go. You know, the stuff that had to come off the deck. I got my umbrella here from patio table. It windstorm came up, ripped it up out of the table and threw it across the yard and broke it. So I got to try and fix that. The old railings and balusters. And these balusters are still good. They're metal, aluminum. So some of that will get reused. You know, these connectors that are on the 2x4s for the railings. Those what hold the balusters in place. I'll reuse all that stuff. We're not even sure we're going to put railings on the new deck, but in case we do, I'll salvage all that. Save that expense of replacing it. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, so I guess we'll just get that camera set up, and probably the first thing we're going to do is start drilling some holes for the lights, especially over on that side. And then I'll start running the wiring from, there's my electrical mess going on right there by the hot tub, and we'll just start running them that way and then down this way and back around. All right, let's get at it. So I decided, oh, what the heck, I'll look at the instructions to see if it's going to tell me what size hole I need for that light. And man, even if I zoomed in times 20, I don't know, maybe that's what I should have done. Now I won't focus on it. Maybe it will. Let's try something. Make holes according to product needs. Oh, that's helpful. So that doesn't tell me anything. And then I was reading on this other page. Sorry for the blurriness, but yeah, right here shows a picture of a drill. And then right in here it says, refer to punch size drawing in manual 2.2 or drill holes the size in the table. Okay, hole size, here we go. You know, you got a whole list of holes depending on which product. Okay, hey, we're figuring this out together. So this product is a D35. D35. Awesome. There's not a D35 in the table. That's perfect. That's hilarious. So, whatever. I mean, I just wanted to show you, and I'm sure most people have been through this, and it's probably why most men don't read the manuals, because they're crap. Anyway, I know from the previous holes that were drilled for the existing lights, those were 1-inch holes. These did fit in those holes and cover the hole fairly good. I decided to try a little bit smaller, so I went with a 7/8 bit, and it's these paddle bits, and these are pretty aggressive. They have a screw tip on them, and they just draw right down in the wood. Anyways, I did a 7/8 inch test hole, ran this light right down into it, and it held it pretty nicely. So 7/8 is the trick. So there, 7/8. So we'll try one right here in the board. What I did for my measuring, used all kinds of crazy math, But I put one as close to this corner as I could because of the two boards. One here in the center, somewhere you can't hardly see the marking, it's right there. And then because of this weird junction I have, and I should not have done that intersection like that, I should have actually cut angles and hid the seam, but that's okay, it's fine. But I'm going to put one right in that corner. And the reason why I'm spreading them out like that is because I don't want it to be too far from that light that's there, because I don't want to put another light on this side. So this one kind of works the corner and evens out the spacing. So without further ado, I'm just going to drill a hole here for the camera. Let's put a camera right there because I'm very right-handed. And one thing I've noticed, this DeWalt drills, these 20 volters, don't quite have enough oomph to really do the job very well. But with a little perseverance, go back and forth, yeah, it just basically stops. It can't hardly handle it. Yeah, I guarantee that's just taking that battery and wrapping it. The other thing you gotta be careful of, this bit is so aggressive, it will grab you and yank your wrist around. Almost through. There we go. There's tear out in the back, but I don't really care. Looks pretty good. And you just run your cables through here. There you go. Garbage there. And like I said, people were complaining that the lights would turn. But, you know, down the road I can actually just grab a hold of it, pull it out a little bit, add a little silicone back there, push it in, let it dry, and it should hold it. For now, you know, it's in there. All right, so I already have 1, 2, 3, 5, 8 in place. I got to drill 12 holes. 3 here, 3 on the other side, and then 6 along the face. So without further ado, let's get at it. The other thing I wanted to show you about these lights is how they connect, and part of my problem is why I'm waiting for a delivery from Amazon are these cables. So they're made to daisy chain together. You have a female and a male, and it's a 4-pin system, so it's a pretty specific cable. But then they just kind of go together like that, right? And then, so that's 2 lights hooked together through that connection, and then on down. One line will go to the power supply, the next line will go to the next light till you reach the end. And then they provide a cap to cap off the end, so you know, no dirt and debris or water gets in there, because these are supposed to be waterproof. Anyways, you got a little screw connection to seal it off tight. The problem is the length of these cables. They're only about 1.5 feet in length, and the spacing for the lights is more like 4 feet in most cases. So I ordered some 3.5 foot cable extensions. I just didn't think it was probably going to be good to cut these open and splice in the cable. Probably would have been cheaper, and I wouldn't have had to wait for the delivery. But you know, it wasn't too bad. I think she paid 150 bucks for this light kit, and it came with 20 lights, and it was an Amazon deal. You know, you just do a search for LED deck lighting, and this is one of the things that came up. There's a million selections, so you know, you just got to find one that's application fits your needs. Yeah, so hopefully those cables will be here soon, because I definitely want to, the part where I've already got some decking down, I'll have to reach underneath there and pull the lines together, and that's going to be a pain. Hey, something I just wanted to show you guys real quick is this Craig multi-mark tool. It's a pretty cool little tool I got for the old birthday. Yep, the old man just got older. Anyways, it's you know, it's a depth marker, and it slides with this little brass screw head here, so you can set your depths. You know, use it on a router table, use it for marking your wood. Just write a pencil right along here. I got lots of videos on how to use it, but I just wanted to go over a few things. It's metric, it's standard inches. Like I said, that's the depth. You loosen up the screw on the back, give it a turn, it locks in the little groove that's here in the back. Tighten it down, boom, it's a square. It's also got a level on it, so that's kind of handy. It is also does 45s. There's a slot here on the side where you can slide this in and do 45s. Right, and again, you just put the brass retaining screw in there to hold it in place, lock your measurements, and you know, for storage of the ruler, which is a pretty nice heavy-duty ruler, you can just put it back into the slot that's in the back, which is part of your depth slide gauge. Put your retaining, if I can quit fumbling with it, put your brass retaining screw in, lock it down. That'll protect your screwdriver, that'll protect your ruler. And yeah, pretty nice tool. I got it for my birthday. I did look up for you all what these things cost. They're like 15 bucks at Lowe's. So yeah, pretty nice little device. I know I'll use a lot. I just got it like, what, 2 days ago, and used it on the deck already to mark all the hole locations for the new lights. So pretty handy tool. Nice and compact, really fits in a toolbox. I carry a long toolbox nicely. You know, that's where mine's gonna go. Kind of easier than a speed square as far as portability. And I won't get rid of my speed square, so I love them, so use them all the time. So time for a tech tip. Paddle bit, yep. Paddle bit. This one here with the screw tip on it, very aggressive, really wants to pull the bit into the wood and drive itself through. You don't have to press a lot. Problem is it binds up a lot, especially in wetter wood. You know, the deck had sprinklers hitting it, so the wood's a little wet, and the rain. So kept binding, and the DeWalt drill didn't have enough oomph to pull it on through it. This paddle bit though, pretty plain. You got to push on it, but it went right through the wood, no problems, no binding. It just chewed up and went on through. For my money, I'd just rather use this. It's probably half the cost of one of these, and made the job a lot faster. So, you know, take it for what it's worth. You can buy them and try them yourself, but you know, this is really like a $1 bit. This was probably actually more than $2 a bit, but it's been a long time since I bought them. So, okay, back to it. So this is taking a lot longer than I thought it would, but it's coming together slowly but surely. Another tech tip for you. You know, if you're going to do all your floor joist framing, you know, you want to probably start getting your decking down as soon as you get your joists laid, because what's going on with me is over the past month since I started this project, all of these have just been warping just incredibly bad, which makes it pretty hard to get the floor square and level. So, you know, lay it down when it's nice and straight, and then immediately start getting your decking on as quickly as you can. Or put some ribs in to hold everything in place, maybe every 4 feet or something. Pretty much about everywhere there's a cross brace. Probably should have been a piece of ribbing just to hold everything square. Anyways, that's a tip for you if it's going to take you as long as it's taken me. Working a full-time job and trying to do a deck on the weekends is just taking a lot longer than I thought. All right, you can see I got another 4 feet or so done here. And since the last video, it's pretty late in the day, it's pretty hot. I think I might build, my wife bought that patio furniture, I think I might build a couple pieces and throw it out there for her, just so she sees the progress. And I did get the lights done all the way around to here, and I got the ones done at that far end. I still have to do the lights across here, but I'm going to wait till I pull the old decking up. And that's the other thing, pulling the old decking up and trying to salvage it is taking a really long time. So you want to take that into account. I mean, I'm spending hours trying to pull out all these screws and salvage these boards so that it can be used over by the pool. Anyways, I mean, actually the time I'm spending on here, I probably could have paid for the brand new boards. So just a thought, might have been easier just to rip it up. Anyway, here we go. Taking a little break from, plus I ran out of screws. So in this whole thing, I'm probably going to use about 3 boxes, or I think they're 3-pound boxes, so 9 pounds of screws. So, always better to go back and get more than have way too much. I don't know. All right, we'll see you soon. This here's what I did to solve the curved problem that I was having with the hot tub. This is very rounded surface here, so it wasn't a matter of just cutting a straight line to get a nice tight fit. So I made a little template. I came down around, and I ended up splicing it just in case I was going to have difficulties. So that is one piece underneath this cardboard, and then I made a template to get around that corner, and the result is a nice tight fit. As you can tell, this tub used to be gray and I painted it brown, and then nice tight fit all the way down to the back. This piece here I actually cut on the table saw, just hand fed it through and made a pretty good curve, made a nice flat cut. Then I did end up using a combination of a scroll saw, jigsaw, and a little bit of sanding with the belt sander just to get the nice smooth curve. Anyways, turned out pretty good. Was really struggling with it yesterday. I opted not to have the 1/4 inch gap along this seam here, just because it made that piece just a little too thin and flimsy. But it looks fine. So moving on, and try to get all this here done. So I got a couple more curves that I have to cut here. Then those boards are just straight over to about where the sun starts showing again. So should be able to lay that fairly fast once I get these 2 boards cut. Same idea though. I make a template. It's the fastest, easiest way, most accurate. So you can't probably really see it, but I did run a plumb line along that edge. There's a plumb line that runs the width of the deck. I put a board on that end with the proper hangover, board on this end with the proper hangover, and then, not to be confused with a hangover, ran a line across that, pinned it out. Now I'll just take my little DeWalt circular saw there and cut off all the overhang so it's even. I'll probably do that. Now I'm just going to leave that string there, and I'll do the same on the other side and the other side and the other side. You can see the yellow plumb line I pulled, and then here's my reference board with the proper overhang string down along it. Yeah, looks pretty good. String pretty much follows the line pretty straight for freehanding. Anyways, gonna try to get this at least enclosed before the heat of the day starts. So that'll take quite a bit of time there around this side of the tub. Because as you recall in the previous video when I did that side, I had to cut a template because the tub has a slight curve to it. But we gotta see where the boards land. Anyways, we'll see how it ends up. So here's how I went about setting up a template out of cardboard. First thing I did is I selected a board. You notice it's too long, but I wanted to make sure it's plenty long enough to get all the way around the curve till it got through the board. So it came to a fine point. And slowly I just, I took a square piece of cardboard and slowly started cutting this corner away, taking a pencil and tracing it along, cut a little bit more, so it kept sliding it forward until I got to this point. Then went in, used a 45-degree saw on my compound miter saw, cut off the 45 just to get rid of the big bulk of it. Then used the scroll saw, jigsaw, cut out the rough shape. Didn't want to get close to it because, the jigsaws don't tend to cut a very square cut. But got about within a 1/4 inch of the line. And then I just took a belt sander and sanded the rest away. And it went pretty fast. So, it's a pretty efficient way to do it and get a really nice, clean, circular, molded cut for around here. You can see these boards are a little bit thinner than the original boards. They actually starting to expose some of the old color of the tub, which was gray. Anyways, that's how you do that. And I got a feeling that the next board is just going to be a whole board all the way down. Probably won't have to do any cutting. There'll be a little bit of a gap along the side of the tub, but that'll be all right. Well, got 4 more in, so rain's coming. Call it a day. Save the knees, that's for sure, so I'm actually kind of happy about that. Time to fix another shirt. Better. Cut a notch right here, notch up at the other end. Now I can run a string line and get a nice straight line. Normally I'd run a chalk line, but chalk line is broke. So I'm just running a string and then I'll trace it. That's all, folks. As promised, it's time for some takeaways on this project. As you've seen, I spent a lot of time on my knees screwing and drilling and drilling and screwing, and it was just brutal on the knees. The reason for that, of course, is I chose the square edge decking material, and to do a hidden fastener on that, you have to pre-drill and then drill each individual screw. If I had it to do over again, I would have not bought the square edge product as you see in the photo, but I would have bought the grooved product. You can buy both, you can mix them, but the grooved product allows you to use a clip system and no pre-drilling, no spacing, because the clips will do all the spacing for you, and just a much faster way of laying down the decking. Certainly a little more expensive, probably 3 times the amount for each screw, but well worth it on the time you save on your knees. You can actually, and what I should have done is probably bought the router attachment and made my boards grooved, and then that would have saved me a lot of time also. It's an extra step, but you know, it would have turned the boards that I was trying to match the old system into a grooved system and made it much easier to lay down. So, you know, for you folks out there that are getting ready to do your own decking projects, like I said, just
buy the grooved decking. You can also buy it with a finished edge on one side, so that, you know, when you're going around your borders on the edge of your decking, you don't see the groove. It's a nice finished edge. So good luck with your projects. Thanks for watching. Sorry it took so long to get this out, but you know, life gets in the way. Anyways, tune in for some more stuff. I got the pool deck coming up. It's nearly finished, so we'll show you that one here in a real short while.